Hello and welcome to the It's Your Effin' Journey podcast. My name is Melissa Hemming, and if you had a baby with a life coach and a therapist, you get me. I am so excited to have Kristen here today. She has a really inspirational story about movement helping physical and mental pain. And also, what my favorite part of the story is when she messaged me and said, "Hey, I've got a story that I want to share. I want to come on the podcast." Like, that is big dick energy, and I love it, and I'm here for it. So I hope you enjoy this episode. Please join our free podcast community. It's housed on Facebook. We've got a lot of discussion in there. I'm going to be planning a event for March for my local friends and for my faraway friends. We're always talking about ways we can grow and support each other and just be there for each other. That's what the point is. We have a community. And right now, community is really, really important. So please, even if it's not my podcast community, make sure that you're creating community for yourself. Make sure you're fostering connections with other people. Make sure that even though this is a super stressful time in life and in the world, that you are not isolating yourself and you are reaching out to others, being there for other people and asking for help for yourself. So, love you guys, and I hope you enjoy the episode. Hello, Kristen. Welcome to the It's Your Effin' Journey podcast. This is so much fun because we've never talked before. Like, literally, like, our conversations have been very limited on Instagram. But what I love about you so far is that, Kristen, like what I said in my stories, like, if anybody wants to come on the podcast, share their story, like, have a conversation. And literally no one ever does this, but you messaged me and were like, I want to come. I want to talk. And I was like, that means you're a badass right there just for doing that, because nobody else does that. I always say, have the confidence of the average white male, and you certainly do. So I am so excited to chat today and just to learn about your story. We have been talking in Instagram and have some similarities, like running and etc. We'll talk about all that stuff, but so excited to have you here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. And honestly, I was like, after seeing the podcast you did with a friend of mine, and I watched the whole thing all the way to the end, and I was like, all right, if I ever want to do this, I'm just going to have to send a message, because otherwise I'm not going to do it. Because I'm a giant chicken.
Yeah. Well, and that's a hard thing to do, right? I can't tell you. There's been a couple people, most people say yes when I ask them, but there's no rhyme or reason to who I ask. It's literally like, I'll see a post and I'm like, oh shit, like that person would be great. Like, I want to talk to that person. And there's been a couple people that I've asked because I've been inspired by their posts or whatever, and they don't say yes. And I'm like, no one, like, this is scary to do. Like, you're going to grow because of it. So I'm so impressed with you for reaching out and saying that and coming on here. So this will be fun.
Thank
so
you.
tell me about yourself.
Well, I grew up in Belchertown. I am an only child, and I grew up around boys, so I learned a few things or two. They tried to teach me how to do sports. Got some wrestling moves in there from them. Some small skateboard skills.
How old are they?
The siblings in particular that I hung out with the most, I'm smack dab in the middle age-wise.
Oh, really?
So one's 35 and one's 37.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So, yeah. But it sucked growing up as an only child. Everyone thinks it's great. And no.
Very lonely.
It has its perks, don't get me wrong, but not a lot. It was just a lot of, hey, help out with chores, and can you do that? Can you do this? But I am thankful that I am my father's daughter, and I was like, how do you do this? And he's like, well, let me show you. and it was always, okay, I'm going to teach you how to do this.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah.
That's
Still don't
really
forget
cool.
the day where he's like, I'm going to teach you how to use the walk behind mower. I'm like, that thing's like 4 times the size of me. No.
So I'm an only
No,
child
Dad.
too. And I can totally relate to that. I think what I'm super grateful for, which I don't think I recognized at the time at all. I think I felt bored a lot of the time when I was growing up. And I will say that I think now it's been the catalyst to me being so independent. Like I don't need people to have a good time. I like to hang out with people and I have a great time and I feel like in a lot of ways I am extroverted, but there is like a piece of me that I do not like if there are people that are needy and like want to go to the bathroom with you all the time or like can't go to eat by themselves or can't do this but like I can't relate to that. Like I there's a very independent part of me, and I think it's because you had to sort of figure shit out for yourself, right? Like either how to entertain yourself or take care of yourself in some ways. There's a lot of alone time.
Yep. Especially when you get to stay home by yourself while your parents are working. You're sitting there in a very quiet house for X amount of hours during the day. You got to feed yourself, keep yourself occupied, do the chores so you don't get in trouble.
Yeah. And that's interesting too, because my mom was a stay-at-home mom, even when I was older. And it was suffocating because there was like this, she was a helicopter parent in a, even without that, but like it was just this extreme focus on me all the time, what I was doing, how could she, help with homework or what did I want for dinner. It just felt like this like focus, which I think is why with my kids, I do a lot of times I'm like, you figure this out for yourself. You got to figure out the answers to your own life, what you want, how to do this, how to do your homework. Like it's almost like the exact opposite because of that helicopter-ness. Did you find that your parents worked, but when they came home, was there a focus on you?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. How has that played out into your adult life?
I mean, it's like you said, you grew up not really needing to survive with others around, basically. And I've always had that independentness. But it's nice. There were occasions where I had to move back and that option was available. So I was like, yay, okay, thank you. And then I was just like, all right, I'm able to get on my 2 feet again. Bye.
How is your relationship with your parents now?
Good. I have a bit of a better relationship with my dad, but I'm very much wanting to keep working on my relationship with my mom. Yeah. And we're working on that, and we both recognize like, okay, let's get to work on this. So that's good, because that's, at least we both recognize it and it's not one person just doing all the work.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's an important part, right? 2 active parties.
Yes. So,
but
if I didn't,
oh, sorry, go. You go.
But if I did need something, I would probably be calling my dad because he's closer than her.
Yeah. So tell me about like your running. How did you start running?
Well, it was a very interesting way to start it. So Brian, who is my husband, when he met me, I was at my absolute worst. I was like a Simpson episode. I was one with the couch. The fibromyalgia had completely taken over. Couldn't stand straight to save my life. I was like complete hunchback.
When were you diagnosed with that?
Oh God. I'm trying to think of how old my son was. It was several years ago. I want to say like maybe 2016, 2017 kind of thing.
Okay.
I couldn't figure out why my body just hurt so much. And then there was one day I was stuck upstairs, and because my whole leg went numb, like I could see it, I could move my foot, but I could not feel it. So I called my neighbor. I'm like, I need you to take me to the doctor's office, like now. And they're like, yeah, you have a pinched nerve and you have fibromyalgia. I'm like, what is that? And they're
They
like,
just told you that
well,
right after blood work or something? Like they just
yeah,
immediately were
oh
like,
yeah, I had all the works going on, blood work, all that jazz, which is fine. But I love how, like, I was like, what is that? And they didn't really have a definite answer. I'm
yeah.
like, cool. Figure that out as I go, I guess.
Isn't that normally something that like it takes a while to find out? Like I thought, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I just thought it was like a you have this
No,
test
it
done
takes
and
a
then this
while.
test. Okay, okay.
It takes a while. So they finally said, yeah, you have fibromyalgia, but that was because I was like, dude, something is wrong. Like, it's painful. Like, this hurts, that's hurt. Like, I kept coming back to the office, and
Oh,
I
okay.
was seriously advocating for myself. I'm like, something is not right. And finally they were like, so, all right, we'll have you see this person. And yeah, sure enough, they're like, you have fibro. I'm like, okay, thanks for stringing me along.
Oh my gosh. So
So,
I'm glad that you pursued that to get that diagnosis for you that
yep. And then
will hopefully
they
give you the
wanted,
treatment you
because,
needed.
yeah, well, yeah, the treatment was basically going to, not necessarily physical therapy, but, they put, muscular tape on to take the herniated disc off of my nerves.
Mm-hmm.
So that helped, but they're like, oh, because your pain is so bad, we're gonna give you oxycodone. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're not putting me on that. I'm like, I'll deal with the pain. You're not putting me on that high pain tolerance med. Nope. And they're like, but you're in a lot of pain. I'm like, yeah, I am. I'm like, my body is killing me. I'm like, but there's no way in hell I'm going on that. I was
What
like,
was
I
the
have a
reason
kid.
for that? Did you have a personal experience with that before or a family
Um,
member?
a family member was kind of addicted, and I saw that, and it was hard to see that.
Yeah.
But also, I have a child to raise, and it was just me. So I'm like, well, I can't be loopy and out of sorts and being like, oh yeah, I'll get you to your dentist appointment, or yeah, let me make you lunch when I can't even function.
Yeah. So
So I'm like,
you wanted to be present and find a way to manage your pain
yeah,
in a different way.
yeah. And that part is where I didn't believe Brian. He's like, well, motion helps, and blah 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 blah. He's like really trying to convince me, and I fought him tooth and nail, but he brought me to the Big E 5K, and I walked it,
Wow, that's a
and
fun one. That was your first race?
that was the first one.
Oh, I love that. That's the one that you get to ride the slide at the end, right?
You can. We did not.
Okay.
I was in so much pain.
Yeah.
I was reaming him out. But I did another one, and that second one led to a third one, and that third one led to a fourth, and then I was actually looking for them. And then before I knew it, I was doing point series races, and I was feeling good, and I'm like, I'm gonna do my first 8K. And my dumb butt signed up for Shelburne Falls Bridge of Flowers, which is an 800-foot hill, blah.
Elevation,
Just a
right?
hill.
Elevation.
Yes, elevation,
Yeah.
thank you. It's just 800 feet, and I remember, I'm like, wow, okay, that hill wasn't so bad. And, you know, I had like internally channeled into growing up on a hill. Like, okay, you gotta like, remember when you had to go to school in the winter and get down the hill that's all black ice? Like, you got this.
Yeah.
And then I remembered, okay, wait, no, that hill that everyone complained about is dirt. I was standing on asphalt. I was like, son of a, I'm not done. So, yeah, sure enough, kept going. And I'm like, where's the top of this dang hill? You see the neighbor people like cheering you on as you go. And I'm like, oh, that's really nice. At one point, I'm like, where's the top of the hill? And like, you're almost there. I'm like, oh my God. And honestly, I will say, if it wasn't for my run community pushing me, especially at the end, one of our runner friends, so he found me and he's like, you got this. My legs were giving up. My legs were like, nope, I'm done. Like, I was literally wobbling, barely standing up. And he's like, it's right there. And like, I'm at the Iron Bridge. All I have to do is cross it.
Yeah.
I could not go.
Aww.
I was like fighting to move. I'm like, just go. And then I finally made it across. I'm like, okay, I did it. It's like I could breathe.
Aww. So was it the
So,
pain? Was it the pain of the fibromyalgia? Ugh, you know what I'm trying to say. That was hard.
so the fibro pain that lasted so many years, and like, I don't get as many flare-ups as I used to, thank God. Every now and then I'll get a, yeah, because I'm moving. And
so this is a catch-22 because you're in the pain to begin with. Like, so you were diagnosed with let's call it fibro and in pain. So most people don't want to move because of the pain, right?
and it
But
hurts to move.
and you heard that it would help you, so you pushed through, developed this running, and because of the running is now why you're in less pain.
Yeah. And
So it's a mind
don't get me wrong,
like, you have to fight that.
Yeah. And it absolutely killed. Like, in the beginning, it hurt so bad to move. And like, when I get a flare, it's not just like my back hurting or whatever. It's my back hurts because it feels like someone's stabbing me thousands of times in my back. My hair hurts. Like, I can feel every single follicle on my head. And if one strand falls, it feels like it's 80 pounds. That's how ridiculous these flare-ups can be.
Yeah.
And for some, as much as I protested and fought Brian, moving did help.
Yeah.
Moving did help.
So how long did it take for you to see that connection between, okay, moving hurts, but it does help me? Like, does it help you every day, or like how do you how often do you move or make a point to move and for it to have that positive impact on you?
If I'm like yesterday, I was just like too chill on the couch, but I did try and run in the ridiculous snow that we and I had run the day before. So my body was like, your legs are too tight for this. So my body was sore and telling me, you basically don't do it, but I did it anyway. I got up from the couch and Brian looks at me because my knees just made this awful popping sound and stretching sound as I stood up. I'm like, yeah, that's my kneecaps. So if I don't move a lot, unfortunately, my body freezes and it sucks and it's sometimes hard to get up, but I get up.
Yeah. So when was that Flower Bridge race, the 8K?
The Bridge of Flowers, oh God, when was that? I want to say it was August.
Okay.
So yeah, it was honestly, despite the stupid hill, it is a very pretty race. And it was fun. Towards the end there was this one mother child duo out front. She had cups of water. She was giving people, but they set up a sprinkler and they put it kind of towards the road so you could run through and cool down, and which was nice because it wasn't hot, but you were toasty.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So
So
is that the furthest distance that you've done now?
my furthest distance is actually 10. Did I do 10 miles yet? Yes.
Yeah. So because you're training for a half, right?
Yes. Yeah, so my first half was actually no, I think I lied. My furthest distance is 8 miles.
Okay. You're getting there.
Yes. So I'm training for the half. Now here's the funny story. My first half was supposed to be the Mother's Day half marathon in May. And Brian realizes what I'm doing, and he's like, "You're really signing up for a half marathon?" I'm like, "If I don't do it, I'm never gonna do it, so I might as well sign up for it." And he's like, "Okay." So sign up for that, and I chose to do the fundraising option. But then, like last month, Brian's texting back and forth with one of our race fans. They're just back and forth. And he comes over, "Let me see your phone." I'm like, "Okay, here." And then I'm like, "Wait, what are you signing me up for?" So he signed me up for what is now actually my technical first half, is the Eastern States in March.
Oh, nice. Okay, so
that will be my first.
That's in April or March?
It's in March.
Okay. So exciting.
March,
so that's
yeah.
the 20-miler, or they have a half?
Correct.
Okay, and is it point to point for the half too?
I actually don't know. I've never done anything like this. Like, I've gone to support Brian doing these kinds of races, but you know, they take a bus, they shuttle, then they come back by foot. So I'm just like, okay, we'll see how this goes. But then, don't get me wrong, they got me doing all these other races. I'm like, if my legs don't fall off.
So how does your body feel now that you're training? How has that impacted how you're feeling?
Pretty good. I can definitely feel when I should have gone out and done a quick run and didn't. I'm like, yeah. My legs are like kind of mad at me. Yeah. But I will say, especially weather like today, would be a day where I would hop on the e-bike and move my legs that way.
Yeah. So now, do you try to move every day?
I try to. I'm doing the Taji 100 challenge as well. So 100 miles in February. And it's hard. It's very hard because I don't get to like go for a run every morning or something like that. I chase children at work. And run around at work. So by the time I get home, I am a preschool teacher, and by the time I get home, Brian's like, "You want to do a run?" I'm like, "Not really."
Yeah.
I'm like, "I want to go to sleep."
So you feel like you're pretty active during the day too?
Yes. Even on the days where we're stuck inside because it's so cold, like I try to have them do marching or whatever, and I'm getting right in there with them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm marching around the classroom. I'm dancing with them, blowing bubbles.
We are the dinosaurs marching.
I put that on when I was in the infant toddler room at the end of the day on Friday because they were wanting a dinosaur song. I'm like, I got it. Play.
Oh my gosh. So how are you feeling about your training? Are you like, do you have a goal for the race? Are you just out there enjoying the miles? Who are you fundraising for?
So for the Mother's Day half marathon, I am fundraising for those that have cancer. And then the training, I printed out a whole sheet of like how many miles you should be doing each day kind of thing.
Mhm.
And not really following it. But I am trying to just like be putting some miles under my belt, not just for the half marathon, but for the Taji challenge as well, because that's for Team Red, White, and Blue.
Okay.
So, and when we do Eastern States in March, a bunch of us are racing, and that's all Team Red, White, and Blue going.
And that's for veterans, right?
Yep. So
Great
it's
cause.
gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. A bunch of us are staying in an Airbnb up there, and it'll be nice because we'll all get to know each other more too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was going to ask that. How did you meet your running friends? Are you part of a club or?
I am. I'm part of EORC. And I started just by showing up and supporting Brian and hanging out, and people would literally be like, "Oh, hey, Kristen, how are you?" And ask me questions, and half the time I was up there doing homework. So I wasn't racing yet, but I finally did get into it, and then it was still challenging because when I decided to do the point series, I was finishing up my college classes. So I had Wednesday night in person. I had Thursday nights doing a race. I had Saturday mornings in person. I was like, okay, so tired. Cannot wait for these to be over.
So now you just have your running.
Now I just have the running, yes. I graduate at the end of May.
Oh, that's awesome. So what's your degree in?
My associate's degree is in family and children's studies. And I'm honestly looking to see which school would take the credits that I have now to put towards early education for my bachelor's. Like, basically, which one can get me in and get me out quickest.
Love it. Yeah, yeah. So what is your goal for that?
I honestly don't know. I'm seeing where it takes me.
Yeah.
Because like I should have known like forever ago that working with kids was my thing because I babysat my whole entire life. But it didn't click for many years, and it took me subbing at the Ware Head Start, where ironically my son went to school, to be like, wow, this is really cool. And then COVID hit, and I was sitting around doing nothing for 6 months.
Yeah.
I was going out of my mind. And then my supervisor calls and she's like, hey, can you come sub? And I'm like, absolutely. So
So were
been
you
there since
running back
COVID.
then? How long have you been a runner?
I did virtual races back then because like Yes Fit races. So basically since Brian and I met.
Pretty much right. When was that? When did you meet Brian?
2018.
Okay. And he was a runner, so he sort of inspired you.
Yeah. It took him a while to get me going, but that was because I protested like a lot.
Yeah.
But when I finally did, he got me going, and then he's like, oh, like, look at this Yes Fit race, or look at this medal, and he would find things that, like, he knew I was interested in.
Yeah.
So, and the thing about Yes Fit races is it's virtual, so it's literally on you, but also you log the miles, and then it's not just you have to do this one set race. Like, you log your miles over time, and then you get your medal.
Yeah.
So it kind of worked.
And it is nice, like, because I mean, especially during COVID when all the races were canceled, I know a lot of people did keep moving with the help of those virtual races. And it is cool, like, because you can find the ones, like you said, that you're interested in. So even
Mhm.
I don't do them often now, but I found a Taylor Swift one, and I did that last year, and I got like a sparkly medal, and that was really cute. And
Cool.
yeah, I know a couple of my friends have done like Friends ones, or whatever your sort of jam is, but
Yeah,
whatever it takes to keep moving.
yeah, we actually my son found one he saw, and it was a Minecraft one. So when he
Oh,
finished, he got
cute.
a Minecraft medal.
Oh, my daughter did one too. You just reminded me of that, like years ago. She was little, but it was a little poop emoji. It was a run. Oh, I forget what runicorn. Like it was like a unicorn poop emoji combination, and she had to do like a certain amount of miles every day, and she loved it, and it was the cutest thing. And then she earned her little medal. Yeah, that's so fun. Minecraft.
That's Yeah. He doesn't run, but every now and then he'll participate in a race. Like he did the groundhog 1 miler up in Connecticut with
Oh,
us.
cute.
That was very cold. Very cold
Yeah.
race.
They do. Do you ever do any of like the Hartford Marathon Foundation races or events?
I probably have and just don't recall.
Because they have
Brian's
great
trying to
kids
get
programs, like even like the kids races at an actual race, and then they also do like challenges. So like they do like a 12Ks of Christmas, and they have like an event for the kids too, where they can like log a mile every day, and it's cute.
well, I'm trying to get him to do more, but he's a teenager, so
Yeah, yeah. No, I've got one
can
of
only
those too.
push that so far.
How old is he?
15.
Okay, mine's 15 too.
15 going on 20.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Wow, I love that. So like what advice would you give your younger self about this journey that you're on now? Like if you knowing now what you didn't know then, what would you tell yourself?
that I was made for hard things and I can do it.
Oh, I love that.
So, yeah, I've been thinking about lately the crap I've gone through. Um, and I was like, wow, I've been through some stuff. And I'm like, and I took some back roads, but I got here and I'm still going.
You're a survivor.
Am.
You are. I
I-
love that you can do hard things.
yeah,
I know. I
yeah,
don't know if you saw that thing that I posted on Instagram yesterday. It was the nicest little thing about like the only people that we're trying to impress, or that it matters to impress, is the 8-year-old version of ourselves, and then the 80-year-old version of ourselves. And I just thought that was
mm-hmm,
so amazing. Like, are we making both of those people proud? The person
right.
that we're going to become or have become, and then are we able to like enjoy the moment and the people, and not sort of look back on our life with regret?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely didn't realize how much of a me versus me challenge a lot of the mentality for, getting up and moving and getting out there would be, but I would say overall I'm pretty decent about getting out there and moving. And there's some days where I'm just like, I want no part of this.
Yeah. Yeah. And some of that's natural, right? Like sometimes our body needs rest, sometimes our mind needs rest. Sometimes,
Right.
we got to sort of respect that that's part of the journey too. There's the days that we move forward and progress, and then there's the days that we just exist.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And they all have a purpose.
Yes.
Well, so exciting. So you've got some races coming up. So the first one coming up is the Eastern States. That's March. And then the Mother's
Mm-hmm.
Day half.
With like a bunch of others sprinkled in there, yes.
All right.
Like I'm trying to look at my calendar. I have the St. Patrick's Road Race that I'm doing. I have Bradley Road Race. Oh my gosh, I forget what it's called. I call it the Polar Bear Run. That's coming up, and
Oh, that's
it's
this weekend?
7.8 miles. Is it this
Yes, I'll be
weekend?
there.
Brian did it last year, and then after I did the 8-miler, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll do it.
Oh, good. So I'll see you this weekend. How fun is that?
Awesome. Yeah, I forget what it's
I
called.
love it.
It's a
The
very
polar bear
odd
one.
name,
I
but
think
it's
it's
up
the
in
polar bear.
Connecticut.
Yeah,
So,
it's beautiful. It really is.
yeah, I sat in the little building and like looked out at the lake while everyone was running and regretted not having a book that whole time. But yeah, there were so many people there and it was freezing. I was like, great, I'm
Yeah,
gonna freeze my butt off.
yeah. And hopefully we'll
That
get
is
some fresh snow to enjoy.
ugh.
It'll be
I
great.
just want to
It'll
run
be
on
a
the
great
pavement.
time.
I need traction.
Yes. You got to get some spikes.
I don't have spikes. I don't have trail shoes. I just have my Brooks and whatnot. So there's basic running shoes.
Yeah. Well, the
But I
tracks are
will.
you can get them at like Ocean State Job Lot, and they just like pull over your sneaker, and they give you like
Right.
a
Yeah,
little
I've
bit of,
seen them.
yeah. It's good to
A
have
lot
them.
of a lot of the folks that did the Snowstorm Classic had those.
Oh, so you did
Oh yeah,
that too.
yeah. Actually, this Saturday is the last. So technically, the points, quote unquote, are over for that. But this Saturday is like the last 5K fun run.
Oh, bummer. Well, I'm
Well,
glad
if you
that I'm
want
going
to
to see
come,
you on Sunday.
yeah,
That'll be really, really
I'll
cool.
probably be regretting it, but
Well, this has been so awesome. Thank you for coming on and like sharing a bit of your story. It's so inspirational to, just to hear that movement. I know it helps so much mentally, but it also physically, even when you have to sort of convince yourself and get to that point, like you literally had to fight your own body to sort of get to this point, and that's super
Mhm.
impressive. Do
Yeah.
you have other people in your life that have fibro that you've sort of convinced like movement does help, or do you get met with a lot of resistance about that?
I'm the only one that I know of. And it's also like that for my another medical disorder. I'm the only one. Um, and I'm just like, all right, cool, figure it out and do life.
Yeah, just do your thing. And you're already like
Yeah.
inspiring as you're going. So I
Well,
love
I mean,
that.
I totally let the fibro take over and I said, screw it, I don't care, I'm not gonna keep trying, and I was like done. And that was the stage when Brian met me. It was not me. I was a mess. But it was like mentally getting over that hurdle because it was so painful and sleeping hurt, sitting hurt, walking hurt. Like nothing was comfortable to do.
Yeah.
And the headaches, there's so much that goes along with it.
So
It was ridiculous.
it was almost like you were like, why not try? Just why not try this? Because it's painful no matter what.
I was in so much pain I didn't want to try it.
Yeah.
Like the car ride there, I was dying. I was like, it was the all the nerve issues that go along with the fibro is absolutely stupid.
Yeah.
And like everyone, if in the summer, people were like, "What happened to you?" One look at my legs, just giant size bruises all over my legs. I'm like, absolutely nothing. I woke up like this.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "I have fibro." I'm like, "It totally screws with your immune system." I'm like, everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not fun. And then I had people, I would saw people posting on Facebook, this hurts, that hurts. I feel like I have no energy. I'm like, sounds like you have fibro. Go to the doctor and ask to be tested for that. Otherwise, they are not testing you.
Yeah.
Because they'll fight it because it's an invisible disease. They're like, well, we can say you don't have it. Can't see it.
Yeah. So you have to keep advocating for yourself.
Yep. And honestly, like, you have to keep advocating for yourself no matter what it is in life, or you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
So, and I've learned that from my mother to advocate for yourself. And there's been times where that information has really come in handy because I've had people try to be like, well, you don't need this, or you. I'm like, no, like, you got to hear what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you got it.
So.
Yeah, you got to keep pushing. Well, that is awesome. And I'm glad that you're a survivor and that you found running and that now we get to see each other this weekend.
Yes. We'll have to find each other through all the people.
Yes, definitely. I'll send you a pic of what I'm wearing.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you and we will talk soon.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. I just realized I forgot to sing my song in the beginning of the episode. So we're going to go out. I'm going to sing you out to What Time Is It? Podcast time. It was a celebration. What time was it? Podcast time. It was a celebration. Oh, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you again for Kristen for having that big dick energy, coming on our show, sharing your story, and remembering and reminding us to move our bodies. There's so much power in movement. Movement is resistance, my friends, my lady friends. So keep resisting and keep fucking fighting. So if you were touched by this episode, please screenshot it, share it in your stories, tell a friend, send the link to a friend. Just tell your friend this is the best podcast ever. And I hope you guys are well, and we'll see you next week. Mwah. Actually, you might see me sooner than next week. Stay tuned.